We're going to be checking in with Fox 61's Glenn Kittle. He's live there working the sources, trying to get updated information. So we're going to check in with him in just a few minutes. And at least 6 Metro North trains along the New Haven line canceled this morning. Yesterday, overhead wires came down along the Metro North. So we're going to have the latest on today's cancellations. A lot going on because we also have weather impact alert for risk of storms in some parts of Connecticut for later today. So a lot going on. We're glad you're checking in with us this Friday. Happy Friday to you, America Arias.
And I'm Bridget Bureau. A lot to get to this morning. So let's talk to Matt Scott, who is tracking all sorts of things, humidity and also storms as well.
As of yesterday, we were tracking a lot more humidity, a lot more heat, and now we're going to track a couple of storms to throw in. That's a typical summer pattern in this late spring day. Steamy start. It's going to be warm. It's going to be humid. Later on, some of these storms may be strong. The weekend starts wet, but it doesn't end that way. We're focusing on 2 to 8 o'clock for our weather impact alert as we look for the potential for some of you to see some storms that'll fire up quickly. And so watch for that. We are quiet now. We had a little rain just kind of tickle the Litchfield Hills overnight. Some thunderstorms continue moving up the Maine coastline. And then there's a lot more rain off towards the west, part of a front that passes tomorrow. Ahead of that, it's unstable. And you can see with the guidance, a high resolution guidance suggesting some of these cells may get to impressive levels, and so we need to keep an eye on this, especially later on this afternoon. Storm Prediction Center has the state under severe weather watch, level 1 for much of the state, but the northern half of the northern counties, right on the border, level 2. That's a slight risk for some severe weather. So we'll be focusing more on the north, but the whole state under the potential gun. 69 in Hartford, 67 in New Haven, 63 in Groton, with the dew points creeping up there. But there's some dry air back over, not quite into Pittsburgh yet, but Chicago, most of Michigan seeing some drier air. And as that starts to push this moisture out, we'll get some more rain, but then we get a quieter forecast. 71 now, 83 later on with the clouds thickening up. We'll talk about the storms, time them out for you for the weekend. Have a look at that in the 7-day coming up in a few minutes. A bumpy ride already for traffic. Man, I do not want to be a road warrior today.
I know. We hate that this is happening on Friday, but hopefully this does not ruin your Friday vibe. But yeah, there's a big problem. We've been following this. We'll be following one on I-95 South. That seems to be still an issue, but we're looking at your drive times here and starting to get a little bit more congested if you're heading from New Haven to New York. That time has certainly bumped up a bit. We're still looking on average 52 minutes, which is pretty good if you're going to be heading from Waterbury all the way into the city. And we do have a look at the maps here for you. That's looking not too bad if you're going to be in that area. I-84 and Waterbury both ways seem to be moving along pretty smoothly. And then we've got to look here at Hartford, 91. Both ways smooth as well. So if you're heading out in those areas, it's looking good. Regardless, wherever you're going today, if you're hitting the road, stay safe and have a good one. And we continue to follow breaking news coming in from East Hartford this morning. There's a large police presence. This is at the Pratt Whitney headquarters.
Yeah, Fox 61 Glenn Kittle joins us live from the scene with what we know so far. Glenn, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, good morning, Eric and Bridget. We've seen this large police presence in the eastern parking lot of the Pratt and Whitney building now for a few hours. I'm going to take a step out of the way so you can see what we're looking at. The newest developments now as of 6 a.m. is that we've seen employees going in to start the workday, but now it looks like they're waiting along the fence, almost like they're being told to wait outside for now. And we've also seen employees going from one entrance to the other, but right now no developments on why that is. We're still working to figure that out. I'm going to cut to some video now that gives you a closer look at what we saw earlier this morning at around 5 a.m. That's when crews had floodlights up, ambulance and fire and local police were on scene. At this time, we still don't know what happened at Pratt & Whitney, if anyone was hurt, or what led up to the police presence. We reached out to Pratt & Whitney and East Hartford Police and Fire. We haven't heard back just yet. We're still continuing to work those leads and figure out what went on at Pratt & Whitney earlier this morning. We're going to continue to follow up and give you the latest updates as we learn more. But for right now, live in East Hartford, Glenn Kittle, Fox 61.
All right, Glenn, we appreciate the updates. Thanks for staying on top of that. Well, meantime, at 6:04, nearly 11 hours ago, overhead power lines came down onto the tracks, which partially stopped service. We're talking about Metro North. The majority of the trains, though, on the New Haven line heading to New York City are still running as scheduled.
We are seeing some impacts, though. Even our producer Lindsay is impacted today, so it's affecting a lot of people. It happened near the Southport station. Service was stopped between the Greens Farms and Bridgeport train station for the entire evening and into the early overnight hours. The first trains that left New Haven this morning are now getting through that area. But just after the overhead wires came down last night, hundreds of passengers of 2 Metro North trains had to be rescued by firefighters in Fairfield. This was the scene as hundreds of people had to be evacuated on the rescue train after waiting hours without any air conditioning. Does not sound fun at all. As of this morning, we have not heard if anyone on the train was hurt. People who frequently ride the train to the city share their reactions right outside the Southport stop.
I take it from New York all the time, and it's already like a long trek and with no AC and no bathroom and lots of people just trying to make it home from work. I definitely feel for the people that are like coming home from work and now they don't know where to go, because we heard that they're stopping at Green Farms, and not everyone is stopping at Green Farms. So how are they going to get home? Again, some people just don't have rides, and the train is their source of transportation. So it's just, we're all in a tough boat.
So pack your patience. If you're heading out the door to catch the train this morning, 6 trains from New Haven have been canceled so far. We are tracking it, though. Here's a list of those train cancellations on your screen. If your train time is not listed, keep in mind you'll have more company today, so be prepared to share the seat next to you. And stick with Fox 61 all morning long for the latest on the Metro North service interruption. We'll have all the updates for you on air and online, fox61.com.
And we're also following breaking news coming out of Chicago, where police just confirmed an officer was shot and killed late last night. Police say it happened after a traffic stop where the driver ran off and went into an apartment. And that's where another person with a rifle opened fire and shot that officer. The officer's name hasn't been released yet, but we do know that she's 36 years old, and this was her 4th year on the job. Now, police have several people in custody, but they haven't said if one of them is the shooter or not. Of course, we're going to follow this and stay on top of it. When more information becomes available, we will get that straight out to you. Meantime, a former preschool teacher in Ansonia has been arrested. Police say the teacher seriously hurt a 3-year-old student back in March at Meade Elementary School. The incident happened at recess. 32-year-old Mary Durso Smith of New Haven was arrested yesterday afternoon. Police say Durso Smith grabbed the child by the arm while the child was going up the slide the wrong way and began to drag the boy before he fell. The arrest report revealed that the boy suffered a broken arm and needed surgery. After a long investigation, police say video footage led them to determine that the incident was not an accident. In a statement, Ansonia Public Schools Superintendent Joseph DeBacco told Fox 61, quote, "The individual is no longer employed. The district does not comment on pending litigation." People who live in that area say that they're really shocked to hear something like this happen in their town.
We all hope that the child is okay and recovers okay, and we are hopeful that this is a one-off and will never happen again, hopefully.
In court yesterday, a judge ruled Durso Smith is not allowed to work with children while the case is ongoing, and that she should not have any contact with the child or their family. She's expected back in court later this month.
6:09 is your time. New legislation aims to put a stop to illegal street takeovers. Lawmakers hope tougher penalties will slam the brakes on the dangerous activities that threaten neighborhoods, damage property, and put people's lives at risk. One community where a street takeover ran rampant was the city of Ansonia. That's where we find Fox 61's Raven Blue with all the new information.
Ansonia police are grateful to state lawmakers for passing a bill that will give them another tool in their toolbox to crack down on illegal street takeovers like the one that happened here in April. You can still see the tire marks left behind when more than 100 people and cars packed the intersection of Wakely Avenue and Franklin Street in Ansonia in late April. An incident that left a police cruiser damaged and law enforcement on the hunt for the people involved. On Wednesday, police arrested a 17-year-old on charges for his alleged involvement in the takeover. The investigation is still happening and more arrests could be made. This all comes as lawmakers are cracking down on the chaos and doing something to help local police departments.
I know they're trying to implement some harsher penalties as being able to seize vehicles and issue fines, do city ordinances and things like that to give us more enforcement action.
In a vote of 144-4, the Connecticut House of Representatives passed a bill that will give municipalities and the state the ability to impose new and stiffer fines and penalties to individuals who participate, organize, or even watch a street takeover. The Senate passed the bill earlier this month in an almost unanimous vote.
It's an issue we've been dealing with. We made some good progress, and we'll continue to make the progress we need.
That bill now awaits Governor Ned Lamont's signature. Under the bill, if a person is found guilty of participating in a street takeover, they could have their license revoked for 2 years and face a $2,000 fine. Neighbors in Ansonia, like Tierra Cogdell, are happy something is being done to make the community safer for their children, especially after the most recent takeover happened next to a children's playground.
We did stop coming for a while because this is our neighborhood park. I hope he learns his lesson. I do hope that this is a wake-up call for him, and I hope, once he gets another chance, he does better and uses this to teach other kids not to follow this road.
Once the bill is signed by the governor, it could go into effect as early as July 1st. In Ansonia, Raven Blue, Fox 61.